Hey everyone, and welcome to our first Video Wednesday video of the year.
And it's not just the first Video Wednesday of 2021, it is also our 2,000 subscriber special Q&A. So you guys sent us a ton of fun questions that we are going to answer while we are walking around in our neighborhood. And not just that, we're actually going on the exact same walk that I do all the time when I play Pokemon Go.
So this is our street, this is where we live. It's called Cochran Avenue, that's right. We live on Cochran Avenue. We have to run now. Run. Okay.
And it is sunset time.
Magic hour.
On this sort of wintry day.
Yeah, winter for LA. I do have my long pants on.
Yeah, everybody really wants to know what pants you're wearing. Okay, so our first question is from YT viewer from GER. I'm gonna assume that means YouTube viewer from Germany. Do you guys plan on going back to Germany pretty soon? Because forever the beard is starting to grow again. This shall answer your question.
Sometimes it grows, sometimes it doesn't.
So no, we're not planning on coming back to Germany very soon. We are here at this random church that we don't go to. I do come here all the time because it's a Pokemon gym.
So this is our first stop of the most boring city tour of Los Angeles. So this church is not just a Poke stop, it's also where I usually go to vote whenever we have voting in Los Angeles.
Okay, so our next question comes from Torsten Frank, who's wishing us a Happy New Year, which we wish you guys a Happy New Year.
We wish everybody a Happy New Year.
And he is saying, where did you get the Döner in LA? And without onions and tomatoes? What? I actually eat my Döner without anything. I eat the meat and I eat the kraut. Everett goes full on with his Döner and I go just like bare minimum. We went to our favorite place in Los Angeles.
The only place in Los Angeles.
Called Berlin's. The two German guys, they opened this Döner chain and they're doing a really, really good job. And they've actually like made it to 2 locations now.
You can't get Döner anywhere else in Los Angeles, anywhere. On our 3rd block, still on the same street that we live on, we're passing a place called Cane and Basket Supply Company. I assume they supply canes and baskets. We have a series of questions from AP.
We love seeing AP's comments because she always puts a lot of thought into it and goes into a lot of detail, sometimes even making lists, which is awesome. Very German. Okay, so some of these questions are about your music, Everett.
Okay.
I really love the steel tongue drum you got as a Christmas present, Everett. What are you planning to do with it? Will we hear it on YouTube?
So basically, I tried to incorporate everything that we own. And now that I own a steel drum, I will incorporate it into our music. That's just kind of how we do things. We look at what we have, and then we write using the materials that we got.
Did you play guitar and piano both by yourself and put it together afterwards?
Yes. Yes, I did. I start with the guitar, then I'll add in the piano, and then I do my voice last.
And by the way, can you do ever drum music to Josie Dancing in the Air? And how did you get into the sport, Josie? It looks really beautiful. I want to see more. Will there be an episode of Aber Josie on this one day? Thank you for your questions and thank you for being interested in my sport. So I am an aerialist as a hobby. Aerialist by night, so to speak. And I specifically do aerial silks. There's tons of other apparatuses, but mine is 2 pieces of fabric just hanging down from the ceiling that you can climb like a rope. You can separate them, you can wrap them around yourself, you can do drops or the splits or whatever you want. I think it's a really pretty sport because the silk always looks like some beautiful like flowing fabric. Plus it's like a whole body workout because you really need every muscle that you have and didn't know you had. I found a lot of muscles that were not there before.
I think she's probably just going to pick it up again and we're just going to have it be a Wednesday video. To add it to one of our stories, that may happen, you know, because it is a part of our lives, but we'll see. We'll just have to see. So right over here in this little group of buildings here that that craft wheelchair repair place right there is also a notary public, and that's where I get a lot of my legal documents signed.
So you guys see, this is an important corner.
So AP also asked, how did I get into music? So there are two stages. There's three stages. One, when I was a child in 3rd grade, I took piano lessons. But then, once I hit middle school, I kind of dropped that and didn't get back into music till way later in my life. And it was my second girlfriend, her name is Esther, and she got me into good music. She's the one who got me to start really listening to music and to start wanting to actually play music. So I have to give her credit for making me want to keep music in my life. And then the third stage was my best friend Daryl. I've known him since 3rd grade, and we became roommates around 2005. And I was playing around on the piano, and he just happened to have his drum set. So he brought his drums out and started playing with me on my piano, and then we just sort of formed a band. So we actually have like several songs, and only 4 of them are recorded. I might actually make that available for you guys. So that's my life with music, and now I incorporate it in everything I do. So another thing AP noticed in all of our videos is that we tend to have very nerdy paraphernalia lying around, either in our t-shirts or it happened to be one on our refrigerator. And the thing is that all of these nerdy things aren't particularly placed there. They just happen to be in our lives because that's just us. We are pretty nerdy people. Doctor Who is one of our favorite shows of all time. My wedding ring literally has Time Lord on it, and hers used to have Companion before we lost it in the airport. And you saw her dress in Donor for One, and our weeping angel on the top of our Christmas tree.
Yeah, Everett is super duper sciencey and science fiction-y as well. You like Star Trek and Star Wars and all the Star
movies. If it has Star in it, I've watched it.
Yeah, all the Star movies.
Stargate, Starman.
You like Transformers and what else? Like all this kind of nerdy stuff. I'm more like mainstream nerdy. I love all things Disney and all things Harry Potter, all things Pokemon, which actually sucks because we're walking, but we're filming on my phone, so I can't be playing Pokemon right now. I just hope my eggs are hatching.
Okay, we're done with AP. Too many questions from you.
I know, so now you know everything about us. There's literally nothing else to know about us. That's all we do. We're nerds, we make music, and we do circus stuff. That's it. So here we are at the Turtle Pond.
There's a Poke stop over here.
No, there's a Poke gym over here. And there's a lot of raids, and I know a lot of people that work in the office buildings all around, and they jump into those raids while they're at work. So this one was right when we were moving back to Los Angeles, and so Easy Hobo said, is that Easy Hobo, or am I reading that wrong? Were you guys really homesick for the US?
Clearly the beer was a big deal. We weren't really feeling it quite yet. Even though we were there for 7 months, we almost forgot that it was temporary.
We did just kind of not really have a home. We were staying with friends and family, so you're never like 100% in your space. And we did miss some friends, which of course we still haven't really been able to see a lot of people, but occasionally we see at least somebody.
But thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yes.
We are coming up to our next stop here. This is the SAG-AFTRA building.
For everybody that doesn't know, SAG is the Actors Union, so Gewerkschaft. So SAG represents all actors in contract negotiations, and they're there for actors if something's wrong on set, if you're not treated right, they'll step in. It's difficult to join SAG. You have to have a certain amount of work. I could join, but I haven't. What you need is you have to work on big Hollywood productions that work with the union. So working on like independent films, making YouTube videos, it doesn't count. But for everybody, for every actor that ever moves to Hollywood, this building is definitely a big step in their lives. Okay, this question comes from Franzi and is specifically for Everett. Actually, does it come from Stefan or Franzi? Or both?
What's the question?
Okay. What are you doing for Men's Day this year?
Oh man, now I'm depressed.
Everett didn't even really know about the concept of Men's Day until we went to Germany. You know, so he got lucky, super lucky, because he was able to get away with it.
I'll never forget it. It was definitely my favorite day in Germany.
He crossed.
You cross.
You cross.
I'll cross you. Oh, ow. Ah.
I stabbed him.
Is that what that was?
I did stab you.
With what?
My imaginary knife.
Oh, those are the worst kind. All right, guys, now we're heading to what's called the La Brea Tar Pits.
There's actually natural tar underneath this area in Los Angeles, and it comes kind of really close to the top, and tar stinks like rotten eggs.
Every building in this area has to follow strict guidelines with methane meters measuring the methane release in each building.
They put mammoths in there to show what it was like during the Ice Age and how dangerous tar is. There's a fence around it so you can't actually get to it. And there's methane bubbles all the time, and they stink.
Anyway, the La Brea Tar Pits is a fun little place where you can walk around and apparently hunt a lot of Pokemon.
Yes, this is a super popular Pokemon spot.
Often Pokemon Go has those weekend events and you'll see all sorts of Pokemon players out here.
Okay, our next two questions are from Andrea Schnell. Andrea Schnell. We don't know. She brainstormed with her husband what questions to ask. 1. Right now you're living in LA, but ever got to experience living like a German in Germany? Where do you see yourself living in 5, 10, or 15 years from now? Would you ever consider moving back to Germany permanently? We like living in Los Angeles, but it is very expensive and it's very difficult right now. Like, I don't think we could afford to have children, especially having to send them to school. All of that costs money. Germany is a lot more affordable and a lot more reasonable with having to pay for normal living stuff.
In 5 years, I bet we're still here in LA. In 10 years, there's a pretty good chance we'll be back in Germany.
Okay, next question. This is kind of a question for you.
Yeah?
How removed did you feel from the German culture while living there? And how much did you just miss about American life?
Well, I lived most of my life in America, so I didn't really miss much of it. Whenever I go to another country, I try to immerse myself as much as possible. I did live 1 year in Korea and I learned Taekwondo. I also took calligraphy classes, and I even stayed at a Buddhist temple stay for 3 days and lived like a Buddhist monk. And so while I was in Germany, I was really just kind of open and ready to just try everything, which is really great for Josie because she's really willing to show me everything.
And the third question from Andrea and her husband is, what are you guys doing for New Year's Eve? Raclette or fondue?
If I were to choose, I would definitely choose raclette.
Raclette is just such a really, really fun experience, and you can't describe it. You just have to do it.
Be slower.
Okay, so should I just wait until we get run over?
Yes, that would make great TV. All right, so this is kind of a cool looking building. It's called the Peter building.
It's called the Peterson Automotive Museum, and this is where you can see a ton of cool cars, like the Transformers cars and the Jurassic World cars and some fancy cars. Yeah, this is where Leo got his Transformer.
No way.
Yep.
I've never been here. Apparently she has.
I have not. So we have another question which comes from Chrissy XD1001. What positive thing are you taking out of 2020 except for your show? We slept in a lot more.
Yeah.
I had a lot more time to spend with my family and friends than I usually do, because usually I don't get to spend a lot of time with them at all.
My positive for 2020 was being able to immerse myself in German beer. Look guys, we got a little piece of Germany here in LA. What is it? It's the Berlin Wall.
And this is a very important question, it's probably for me. It's from Frostbolter. What's your favorite online game? And I can answer that. It's Pokemon Go.
Yeah, just in case, I don't want to get kicked out of my alliance, so I'm going to have to say it's Transformers Earth Wars. Frostbolter is actually my alliance leader, and he's actually kind of an amazing leader. I'm not even trying to brown nose him. He makes charts, he, organizes these events. I'm really kind of impressed he has even the time.
There's a lot of nights where Everett will just set himself alarms so that he can play the game. I'll be like, was the video done? He's like, no, I was so tired. Well, yeah. Our next question is from Hank Moody, and he has two questions that were specific for our Donor for One video. And that is, does that Roomba still work? Yes, it does.
Yes, it still works.
I treated it very, very nicely. I would pet it, I would catch it. That's actually how we shot a lot of it, because I know there were live questions about how we were able to do the Roomba. We would set it, it would run towards me, I would hide under the camera, catch it, turn it around, and let it go in the right moment so that Everett could trip over it again.
Yeah, I kicked the heck out of that Roomba.
And then question 2, 2 trash cans. Are you separating your trash?
Someone caught us.
We actually did get a little bit of in trouble with our live chat because they noticed that Everett threw away a glass beer bottle in the trash. But it's Los Angeles, that's what we do. We separate into clean packaging and dirty trash. Hopefully the recycling plants in Los Angeles do something with our clean packaging.
Yeah, thanks for noticing.
You've probably seen these lights in so many movies. I know there's that one with Ashton Kutcher and Natalie Portman. For our last question, we have John Saylor, who said, this might be a silly question, but how can I buy your merch? And John, that's not a silly question.
It's not a silly question, John.
One is you can just email us, and then you can let us know exactly what shirt you want, and you can PayPal us or Venmo us. And 2, you can become a Patreon.
We want to thank all of our Patreons that have joined already.
And we'll be adding more stuff to Patreon all the time. We want to do more tiers. We want to give you guys more options, and we want to connect with you more.
We want to thank everybody who gave us questions. That was super awesome, and we had a lot of fun answering them.
And thanks everyone for being a subscriber to our YouTube channel. If you're not, then you probably just forgot to press the button, and that's okay, but just do it now.
All right, thank you guys for watching. Good night. Cheers.
Cheers.